Everyone to our City Council meeting for June 9th. We can have a roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish quorum.
Steve Holyfield.
Here.
Terry McClung.
I'm here.
Susan Gruning is absent with notice. Harry Meyer.
Here.
Rochelle Moyer.
Here.
David Avanzito.
Here.
All right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, get a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda as presented. Second.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Right here.
All right. Any additions, corrections?
I would like to make
Okay.
to the agenda, in
Right.
addition. I'd like to add discussion of the workshop with the commission, with the hospital commission.
Okay. Anything else?
Postpone minutes.
Okay.
Need to postpone minutes.
Go postpone.
Minutes.
Postponing the minutes for June, for May 12th?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. We'll postpone that.
Postpone what?
The approval of the minutes for May 12th.
Oh, yes, okay.
They'll be ready next time. All right. All those in favor of the agenda as revised, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so moved. You'll note we've got some vacancies on CAPC. If there's anybody out there that's interested on that. Also have a vacancy on the HDC. And in your packet, we've got a nomination for Willie Daniels for the hospital position number 6 for you to review and talk to. And other than that, public comments, please limit your time to 3 minutes.
Samantha Webb, former medical records clerk. I'd like to allot my time to my husband, Richard.
Hello, my name is Richard Webb, and this is my wife, Samantha, both former employees of Eureka Springs Hospital. First, we would like to respond to the comments sent in an anonymous email by Butterfly to the council at the last meeting. First, this email should not even have been allowed to be read according to the rules. Second, this has been going on since mid-2023 and is still happening, and it did not end in November of 24 as Butterfly stated. Also, Butterfly mentioned that these people had been harassed in public. Our answer to that is we don't condone that. But if you can't do the time and deal with the consequences of your actions, then don't do the crime. Third, to you, Butterfly, whoever you are, cowards send anonymous emails. Either show up, give your name, and state your concerns, or flutter away. Cynthia Asbury, CFO, and Jody Edmondson, acting CEO, have been bullying, intimidating, wrongfully terminating people, and retaliating against anyone that dared to report it since mid-2023, and still are. And Mr. Berry has done everything he could to protect them. They have broken numerous state and federal labor laws, as well as FOIA and HIPAA laws, and it's public knowledge. But Mr. Berry protects them any way he can, but yet he will not lift a finger to help any of the good people hurt by their actions. From this day forward, let it be known that we have a mayor that protects criminals and doesn't lift a finger to help the innocent people hurt by their crimes. In some of the secret text messages between Kent Turner, former commission chair, and Barbara Dix, former commissioner, that came to light back in November of '24, soon after the original article came out in the Independent in November of '24, Kent Turner stated they both had known about this crap was going on for over a year and a half. And Kent made the statement, "I gave Angie permission to fire Cynthia." This proves this started way before the first article came out. Tonight, we would like to ask the council to order an official state investigation into all the allegations of wrongdoing by these people going all the way back to mid-2023. Sandy Martin and the commission investigating this is like the fox investigating who broke into the hen house. Please use your authority as a city council to finally put a stop to this clown show and bring the truth to light. To Miss Sandy Martin, guilty cowards change meeting times and hide in the shadows. People who speak the truth always are in plain sight. It's time for some people to drop their egos and admit there has been wrongdoing and make it right by us and all the other good people hurt by it. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Stacy Humphreys. My husband and I bought 2 homes here in Eureka Springs approximately 1 year ago, our forever homes. Both of us being retired, we could have chosen anywhere in the world to live. The beaches of Belize we discussed, the incredible culture of the southern Italy were 2 considerations, but we chose Eureka Springs. There was something about Eureka that drew us here. For us, it is eclectic, magical, inclusive, and welcoming every time we visit it. That is until my interaction with Mr. Harry Myers, the man sitting next to you on the dais. Our homes are on the hill at the intersection of Flint and Jackson Street, behind the Grand Central Hotel. When we bought the homes, there were multiple no parking signs along the property, line adjacent to both Flint and Jackson Street. We went and did our survey, and the property in front of those 2 homes are indeed ours. So therefore I placed a sign, because I couldn't get any parking, whenever I came back, and put a sign that said towing will be involved. Several weeks ago, Mr. Meyer accosted me over those signs. He yelled at me, screamed at me, demanded that I remove those signs, telling me that they were illegal, that I can't have towing. I subsequently learned that at this behest, an investigation was initiated on our violation of sign ordinances and short-term rental ordinances. That investigation concluded that we, in fact, did not violate any code, ordinance, or law. The day that we had the issue where he drove up and started screaming at me, I said to him, "Let's start over. My name is Stacy. What is yours?" You decided to yell again and get up at the parking sign and drive up that hill very fast. I'm not sure where my signs went. I can't blame anybody, but my signs disappeared at that moment. That is some welcome in Eureka Springs. A council member screaming at me like I was a child in public. And then behind my back, serpents, I can't even talk, I'm sorry, sent out an investigation on me for alleged illegal actions. I wonder if Mr. Meyer would have taken the same actions he did on me that day if it was my husband. I think not. Bullies don't act like that. They only act that way to those that they perceive are weaker than they are. Well, Mr. Meyer made a serious error in judgment. I am not weak. I would like to thank you, Mayor, real quick, for taking care of everything that you did for me with the tree falling down. I've never seen anybody take care of something so fast. So thank you very much for that welcoming to Eureka Springs.
Any other comments? If not, then that concludes our public comments. First item of business is our sewer update. I should say water and sewer.
Good evening. So a little bit about our sewer updates. We replaced a section of 8-inch clay over on Spring Street. Up on First Street, we found a couple sections of a private 4-inch clay line that have collapsed. We've notified the homeowner of that. We jetted the sewer main by La Familia. We keep having some issues over there. We're going to camera that pretty soon and see what's going on. We jetted the sewer line at Spring Street between the post office and German Alley. And then as far as the sewer plant goes, we've ordered both the SBR influent valves, ordered one of the motive valve replacements, and ordered one of the air valve replacements for SBR number 2. And then we jetted the Grotto Springs storm drain line and the storm drain line across the street here on Main Street. As far as sewer updates, that's about all I have. Do you have any questions? Yes.
Update from McClellan, just brief, anything?
I don't really have much to update on that yet. We're looking at doing some boring out there for the subgrade to make sure everything's good to go on what we're proposing building out there, and they're still in the design phase of things, so no real updates to give right now on that.
Okay.
Do you have to have approval from the state to start the demolition?
No, but the way the funding is through the ANRC, we have to do it all together. And if we start demoing now, we're not ready for the construction phase of things, and we'd have to split up that contract more than likely.
Oh, thanks.
How's our water leaks and?
So I don't have an exact percentage for you guys today, but I do know at this time last year, we purchased during the month of, what is this, June now, May? We purchased over 2 million gallons more than we did this year. So we're doing something right. We're getting our water use down. And like Michael reported earlier, our profits are going up. So we're finally starting to break even more or less. So, yeah.
Any other questions for him?
I've got a couple updates that I need to make too. Yes, sir.
Was there a leak somewhere on Main Street today?
There is a leak on Main Street, so I was just going to talk about that for a second. So at 12 North Main Street, the setter broke, and we're going to have to do some excavation to fix that. We were hoping that we could shut the water off today and fix it real quick, but they were having some issues getting that done, so we pushed it back till tomorrow. But I want the public to know between probably Mud Street Cafe and down to the Grand Central, at some point tomorrow we'll be without water. Today we went door to door, and we'll probably do that again tomorrow and try to make sure everybody knows what's going on down there.
Is that going to affect Mud Street?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to try to plan that shut off to occur during hours that aren't necessarily busy for them, either later in the afternoon or earlier in the morning. So we might not even try to shut the water off tomorrow. We might do a test shutdown to make sure we know where all the valves are, and then do it again on Wednesday morning. That way we have time to notify people and all that kind of stuff.
How long will the repairs take, do you think?
I was hoping they would be done this afternoon. We started cutting the concrete sidewalk out and everything about 11 o'clock this morning, and I was hoping it'd be done, but where it broke underneath that little stem wall that they have holding their awning up. So we're probably going to have to take a piece of the highway out.
Where is it?
It's at 12 North Main. It's
Which business or property is that?
that is
I think it's Visions on Main and LaGrange's Eclectic Boutique,
yeah.
right there.
Okay.
And then the only last thing that I really have to report on is Public Works is hiring. So if you guys know anybody, or if the public knows anybody that wants to apply to come work for our team, feel free. We have a deputy position open, and we have a Public Works position open.
What's the starting pay?
For the deputy director, it will start probably anywhere from 16 to 20, and then I'm sorry, the tech position 16 to 20, and the deputy position will be roughly $60K a year.
Okay. I imagine they have to meet some qualifications for those two.
For the deputy director, for sure. So what we're looking for the tech position is somebody with some construction background that is a problem solver. We have to figure out problems pretty quick on the fly, so they have to be a pretty fast problem solver. The deputy position will be more of a management position. We have a lot of big projects coming up. Well, a couple of great big projects coming up with Black Bass Dam and the sewer plant rehabilitation project. So they'll pretty much be my right-hand person to deal with some of those projects and then deal with day-to-day operations.
Did we get the funds for Black Bass Dam?
We do have the funds for Black Bass Dam, and we're doing an environmental impact study right now.
Cool.
On that. Once we get that done and submitted to the feds, I think that's the last.
Yeah, as far as I know, the last that's needing to be done is an environmental study.
Yeah.
We have a lady out of Berryville that's working on that right now, so we hope to have that wrapped up before too much longer.
Simon, any other questions for Simon?
All right. Thank you for
All
your
right,
time.
thank you very much. All right, our next item is new business is ordinance mandating hospital reporting. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right, in your packet, you do have a proposed ordinance. Pretty much adopts what's in state law and also codified in our city ordinance. And then there's an Exhibit A back in the back that actually goes into more detail. I know you guys just got a hold of this afternoon, so Mr. McClung.
The Exhibit A, I'm assuming, is similar to, or a lot of that already existed. Is that not correct? And
I'm going to let
there's additions into that.
our attorney address those.
Currently in your code at 2.68, which is where the hospital commission is created, the only provision that you have in place is that first sentence of 2.68A. There is hereby created a hospital commission. That's the only item that's in code right now. So what I did is to go through the statutes for hospital commissions for a municipal hospital, starting at 14-264-101 through 107. And each one of those subsections, like 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, kind of covers a different part of the process. Appointment of commissioners, powers and duties, responsibilities, reporting, and so it kind of steps through it that way.
Okay.
And as you get down to F, that is where the reporting is there. There's a couple of aspects to that. in there that would require a submission of on a quarterly basis, a full report on operations of accounting, receipts, and disbursements that has to be certified by the commissioners. That's in state law. And then the annual audit also has to be provided to the commissioners. That's under G. The part that's added, if you look at F1, that's where it's talking about the commissioners being required to submit other and further reports, data, information as may be requested by the mayor or city council pursuant to that code section. Such requests shall be made in writing by the mayor or by resolution of the city council to the hospital commission.
So what that's saying, if I understand it correctly, is that just an arbitrary request by one of the council person is not enough to generate a report delivery to us?
Yeah, because it says city council, not city council member.
Right.
So I think it would be something where you guys came together and would determine. I mean, you're supposed to be getting quarterly reports on revenues, disbursements, and operations. So, but if there's something in addition, I was just talking to the mayor saying
it has to be voted on in a meeting.
Yeah, that you would, if there's something in addition that you would want, I would suggest that that you all come to that decision and let me know. I can prepare a resolution for that. That way, it's in writing. That can be sent to them, and they'll know, hey, this is the report, additional information that we need on this basis, whether it's yearly, quarterly, whatever the basis is.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And to be clear, the other commissions that have budget oversight are required to do this as well for the city council.
I move that we assign this a number and read it for its first reading.
Second.
I got a motion by Mr. Meyer to sign this a number and read it read it for its first reading, and second by Mr. McClung. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved.
Assigning ordinance number 2370, an ordinance to amend section 2.68 Hospital Commission in its entirety of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. Whereas the City of Eureka Springs adopted ordinance number 935 on May 4th, 1972, to establish a hospital commission pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated 14-264-101 in order to operate and manage its municipal hospital. And whereas the ordinance number 925 was therefore codified into section 2.68 Hospital Commission in the Eureka Springs Municipal Code. And whereas it has become apparent to the City Council that a need exists to amend Section 2.68 Hospital Commission in its entirety in order to set forth the statutory obligations of the hospital commissioners and the municipal officers of the City of Eureka Springs as set forth in attached Exhibit A. And whereas the City Council has reviewed the proposed amendment attached hereto as Exhibit A and has determined that it is in the best interest and benefit of the community to amend its entirety Section 2.68 Hospital Commission of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Section 1, Section 2.68 Hospital Commission of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code is hereby amended in its entirety as set forth in attached Exhibit A. Section 2, the rest and remainder of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code not specifically amended herein remains in full force and effect. Section 3, in event that any section, paragraph, subdivision, clause, phrase, or other provision or portion of this ordinance shall be adjudged invalid or unconstitutional, same shall not affect the validity of this ordinance as a whole or any part or provision other than that part so decided to be invalid or unconstitutional, and the remaining provisions of this ordinance shall be construed as if invalid, unenforceable, or unconstitutional provision or provisions have never been contained herein. Provisions of this ordinance shall be construed as if such invalid, unenforceable, or unconstitutional provision or provisions have never been contained herein. Section 4, declaration of emergency. Oh, sorry. I'm not reading that yet.
Okay. Mr. McClung?
Do you want me to read the exhibit, or do we need to read it?
We don't need to, but if you want to, we can.
Oh, no, I mean, if we don't need to, I'm happy with moving forward. If the councilman's
Okay.
all right.
It's
or the
incorporated by
councilor.
reference, so I don't believe it needs to be read. It's
Okay.
incorporated, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Save Ida's voice.
All right, Mr. McClung?
I make a motion that we approve this ordinance on its first reading. What was the number on it again?
2370.
370. Is that correct? 2370.
237. I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2370 on its first reading.
Second?
All right, any further discussion? All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, Mr. Myers seconded to approve this on the first reading. There being no further discussion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right, Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2370 by title only.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Holyfield, second. Okay, Mr. McClung made the motion to suspend the rules and read by title only. Mr. Holyfield, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
David Amantino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Rochelle Moyer.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2370, an ordinance to amend section 2.68 Hospital Commission in its entirety of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance 2370 on its second reading.
Second?
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, Mr. Myers seconded to approve it on second reading by title only. Being no further discussion, roll call.
David Amantino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Rochelle Moyer,
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2370 by title only for its third and final reading.
Second?
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
David Amantino,
Yes.
Rochelle Moyer,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
ordinance number 2370, an ordinance to amend section 2.68 Hospital Commission in its entirety of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Mr. McClung?
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 2370 on its third and final reading.
Second?
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion, Mr. Myers seconded to approve it on third and final reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Rochelle Moyer,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
David Amantino,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we pass
Invoke.
the emergency clause.
Second?
All right, Mr. McClung made a motion to pass the emergency clause, and Mr. Myers seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
David Amantino,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Rochelle Moyer,
Yes.
Steve Holofield.
Yes.
Section 4, Declaration of Emergency. It is hereby found and determined that Section 2.68A Hospital Commission of the Eureka Springs Municipal Code should be immediately amended entirety in order to update and provide new regulations regarding the duties and responsibilities of the hospital commissioners, as well as the municipal officers of the city, and to set forth the process for reporting of financial information, annual audits, and other information required by law or requested by the mayor or the city council. Therefore, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this act being immediately necessary for the preservation and protection of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of the city and its citizens shall become effective on the date of its passage and approval by the mayor.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, our next item on the agenda is need a motion to read the June Pride Proclamation.
Motion to read the June Pride Proclamation.
Second.
All right. City of Eureka Springs recognizes the importance in promoting a diverse and inclusive community where all residents feel valued and respected. The LGBTQ+ community has played a vital role in shaping our society and enriching our cultural landscape. And whereas June is a time to celebrate the history, achievements, and ongoing struggle for the equality of the LGBTQ+ community, the City of Eureka Springs is committed to fostering a welcome and affirming environment for all, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. Therefore, I, Robert D. Butch-Berry, Mayor of Eureka Springs, do hereby proclaim June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month in Eureka Springs. We encourage all residents to embrace the diversity, celebrate inclusivity, and stand in solidarity with our LGBTQ+ neighbors in their ongoing pursuit of equality and acceptance. We affirm our commitment to creating a community where every resident can live freely, authentically, and with dignity, and where all voices are heard and valued. In witness thereof, I, Mayor Robert D. Butch-Berry, have hereby unto set my hand and cause the seal of Eureka Springs to be affixed, and declaring June as Pride Month. Thank you all. And thank the city for this. All right, our next item is a resolution authorizing the disposal of surplus property.
Motion discussed.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and discuss. We have a, let's say, it's a dump truck from Public Works that is no longer used or any good. So they would like to put this out for disposal, probably through an online auction. So,
Is that the one that broke in half?
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Boy!
You think they're going to get $5,000 for it?
well, you never know. We have somebody gave us a bunch of money for a tram that wasn't running one time. So, Mr. McClung.
Never know.
I'd like to sign the resolution number and read it for passage.
Second.
All right, Mr. McClung made a motion to sign this number and read for passage, and Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
David Amazino,
Yes.
Rochelle Moyer,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
Yes.
Signing resolution number 883. A resolution authorizing the disposal of surplus city property through auction. Whereas the City Council recognizes the importance of accounting for capital items disposed of through means of auction. And whereas adherence to the previously established fixed asset policy disposal of assets, which determines that city assets shall not be sold without competitive bidding if the amount exceeds $5,000, ordinance number 1699A, July 25th, 1995, will have been satisfied. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that Section 1, the City Council shall accept the monies realized through the auction of the following vehicle: a 1992 International dump truck. Section 2, the above list fixed assets shall be removed from the city fixed asset inventory listing once the sale is completed.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, next item of business is discussion of the workshop for the Hospital Commission. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right.
So, thank you for, this is really difficult to continue to bring up, but I have literally taken so many calls and gotten so many emails regarding this issue that I feel like it's important to bring it to the council and have some things publicly addressed. So there are some comments that were made in the workshop between the council and the Hospital Commission recently that I feel, unfortunately, I was unable to be there. I wasn't consulted before the schedule, and I know that I've been sort of spearheading these conversations, so it was unfortunate that I wasn't able to be there and participate and support my colleagues who were there and ask great questions, so I appreciate you all. But there were just a few things that I feel like are important to mention publicly. And I've developed some slides to try to help illustrate some of the points that I wanted to make. It seems that some of the facts are contradictory to what the Commission reports in their meetings and in the last workshop. And this is really concerning to me and very concerning to others in our community. If you take a look at slide 1, and we'll just start with that, regarding patient visitation, I think you can easily see a pattern here when you look at patient visitation since 2020. There's an obvious cycle that appears, and this mirrors tourism, right, in our town. So I think when the argument is made that we're just a rural hospital, we're more than a rural hospital. We are very importantly a rural hospital, but we also serve millions of people who come to this town on vacation. And I think that makes us a little bit different. I think it's important to notice the low visitation in January. It always drops in January and it peaks in July, June and July. But if you look at this last year, you'll see the lowest number of patients visiting our hospital in all of the 5 years of data. And I think that that says something important. That indicates that there's something really different happening right now. And if I'm just going off of all the calls and emails that I receive, I think that this directly correlates to a lack of confidence in the hospital, and in particular, the hospital administration. The reasons for that, I cannot comment on, but that is the correlation that I see, and I think it's important to put a pin in that. If you look at slide 2, this shows patient revenue, which continues to fall, and the slight uptick that the Commission praises is actually a reflection of the seasonal increase in tourism that I showed on the first slide, not community recommitment. I think that's a misstatement. If you look at slide 3, there's a lot to take in here, but in a nutshell, the financial impacts of reduced revenue are compounded by increased labor cost. And here's where I think we get off track. I believe the difference between the staff and contract costs have been dangerously misrepresented by the Commission and the hospital administration. Total labor costs are now equal to or higher to when the hospital ran inpatient services as a critical access hospital. The CFO and the chair in the workshop that was just held reported that the costs for salaried employees versus contract labor were equivocal, 50-50. This is their exact words. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. They made a determination of this based on a CBA they reported that was done in 2023, when the hospital was still a critical access facility and we were running inpatients. My guess is that staff looked very different. If you look at the expenses, we're spending the same amount of money to run an ER that we did in 2023 when we ran the full critical access hospital. The administration and the chair stated that it was simply easier to staff with contract labor because you didn't have to deal with call-offs and overtime. This makes me very sad. Rural hospitals play a vital role in the local economy. They offer highly skilled jobs, wages, and salaries that contribute to the local economy and support local families. And they attract economic investment in an area. All of these very good reasons why we would go with salaried employment versus contract labor. Finally, the Commission seems to find security in reporting a bank balance of $5 million. This is something to consider. A January 2023 balance sheet, which is only the most recent one that I have possession of, from 2023, even though I've requested this on multiple occasions and never received it, shows a $4 million liability. The Commission reports that this is because the accountant was unable to trace where that money went and had to record it as a liability. So much about that is troubling, but there's more. If you look at slide 4, since September of 24, there's been a decrease in the reported bank balances in the amount of $1.79 million, and the hospital only reports losses of $409,000. So that leaves $1.382 million unaccounted for. The council and myself in particular have repeatedly asked to see a balance sheet and a cash flow statement, the most recent available, which is necessary in order to attempt to reconcile this difference. I've not received that. We've not received that. And so the question remains, how is the money spent? How is the money spent? What is the holdup in sharing that information? I don't understand. I don't understand why the Commission would not be compliant with the council request. We're doing our job. At a minimum, I would think the Commission would be obliged to share the financial reports. Now that we have just read this ordinance, I understand the procedure that we'll need to go through to get this done. I would suggest the council discuss very soon what, if any, reports we would like to receive from the Commission and on what frequency. I share the growing concerns of our community over the hospital. Over the past few months, I've operated on assumptions that we all wanted the same thing and that the hospital Commission is capable of fulfilling their charge. The council's requested important data, and to be honest, it's either been ignored or the chair's provided a summary that was incomplete and inaccurate. The data that I've used here to provide all of the things that I've provided for you in this packet and in the past have actually been provided by way of FOIA requests from other parties. So I've cobbled together this information and this data. I'm disappointed to report that nearly every good faith effort has met resistance, and points of concern continue to go unaddressed. I now believe that the Hospital Commission Chair and the Vice Chair are negligent in their leadership. They continue to misrepresent circumstances and data, and I'm in position of evidence to support that statement. For reasons beyond my understanding, they failed to comply in good faith with requests made of them by this council. But worse than that, they continue to boldly and publicly state otherwise. We've provided you with that. We've provided you with that. That is not true. Continuing to support leadership who refuses to act with transparency and fails to provide the necessary oversight is irresponsible. It would be one thing if there were no other options, but there have been other options that have not even been given true consideration. For example, Dr. House's proposal. That model would bring less risk, and it could improve community relations, and yet it has not yet been seriously considered. As public servants, we have an obligation to our community. And Mayor, you insist that the council is unable to act. I'm actually inclined to motion for discussion of the removal of the commission chair and the vice chair, but I'm putting it back on you. If I were you, I would draw allocations from professional services to have a review and a reconciliation of the commission, of the hospital budget, of the hospital's finances, and find out what in the world is going on. That's it.
Mr. McClung?
A question for Ms. Moyer. Have you got an idea of what reports it is that you need to have that you could put into a motion form now that we could approve?
With 1 minute, yeah. I could look it up with 1 minute.
I declare a filibuster for 60 seconds. Just give her the minute.
For 60 seconds.
To give her the minute.
No pressure.
Give her time to prepare what it is she needs.
The ordinance says they have to request a resolution.
Well, I think I can add a little bit to this right now while she's digging. I spoke on the phone with Dr. Carolyn Crook with Northwest Arkansas Pathology. They were the ones that handled the pathology and the medical director positions at our hospital for 30 years. And when things blew up last November, when an incompetent high school graduate was appointed CEO, things went downhill and they left town fast. They turned in their resignations and said they wouldn't touch this place with a 10-foot pole, having someone like that as a CEO. I mean, she might be a nice person, but she just does not have the quality, the education and means to do her job properly. There's another thing. The last person that was crowded out of the hospital was one of the 13 people that signed a letter to the commission complaining about problems with the hospital. And one by one, they have been pushed out and for ridiculous reasons. I mean, Becky Bird is a perfect example of that. She should have never lost her job. She'd been there over 20 years. She did a fine job. And they had to dream, they accused her of one thing, and then they said she did another thing, and then they fired her for something completely different. It's, all these people that have come to talk to us, it's a toxic environment there. And I think that the commission has never really had to micromanage the hospital. They've always hired a company to come in, somebody to come in and operate the hospital, and they monitor it, and they get reports from them, and the companies are supposed to have people that are supposed to run it. But when they've hired a CEO, temporary, but the temporary has gone on for almost a year, they're running the place into the ground. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you. So I would suggest a profit and loss.
Make a motion, put it into a motion form, please.
I motion to make a list of the reports we would like to have on a monthly basis from the hospital commission.
May I say
What kind of reports? I mean, that's rather broad.
Financial reports.
I think we just shot ourselves in the foot by approving or voting in that hospital thing that we just did, right?
So,
Why?
Gives us authority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. I'm just asking.
that ordinance doesn't go into effect till I post it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I post it as an emergency clause. So tomorrow when I post it, it'll immediately go into effect. And on that exhibit, it says, such request shall be made in writing by the mayor or by resolution of the city council to the hospital commissioners. So you guys need to have a resolution drafted if you want official.
But we can make the motion today without it being enacted till tomorrow, correct?
It says a resolution is what is needed to formally request this.
So would we make a motion to have a resolution drafted that would include?
I don't think that's, I think he
I'm
might
reading
be-
the ordinance right now. You can, yeah.
Let me,
What's the procedure?
Let me jump in there. As it is right now, the with the new ordinance, the hospital commission has to provide financial data quarterly, right? And then additional reports can be done at the mayor's behest in writing or by resolution. I think it's best to have these things in writing, but a resolution can be oral or it can be written. A resolution is, when you say I move to do something, that
is a resolution.
But what I would suggest that we do, if you have specific, you mentioned profit and loss, and you may have a couple more, is that we go ahead and get those down, and you all vote on it. I'll bring it back in a written resolution, so that can be sent over to the hospital, and we have that documented. And that would be my suggestion. In the meantime, between meetings, we can notify the hospital that this request is being made. It's going to be forthcoming in a written resolution. Go ahead and start getting this stuff ready. Because the other things are going to have to, they're going to have to get the quarterly reporting together, the certifications. I don't know if you've seen last year's audit, things like that.
So, so what would be the best way to proceed? To, in writing, put something together?
You were starting to do a motion, and I think you mentioned profit and loss. I didn't know whether you had other reports.
Balance sheet.
I would suggest
Balance sheet.
What's that?
A balance sheet.
Balance sheet, profit
Cash
and
flow
loss.
statement.
Cash flow statement, is that what you just said?
Yes.
All those three are public records and can be and should be provided. So if you want to make a motion now to be provided profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow statements, I assume they issue those on a monthly basis at the hospital. I assume they do.
I would assume.
But that can be, if you want to make a motion on that now, I'll come back with I'll put that in a written resolution so we have that sort of formalized.
Okay.
And we can also notify the hospital of this.
Sorry. The echo for me is so bad. What?
So we can go ahead and notify the hospital of this request.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would make a motion to have a profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, and a cash flow statement provided to City Council on a monthly basis as soon as it becomes available.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion to have the hospital commission provide a balance statement, profit and loss, and a cash flow statement on a monthly basis.
Balance sheet, yeah.
I think I said balance sheet. So any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so moved.
Bring that back at the next meeting.
Thank you for your assistance in procedurally making that happen.
Absolutely.
Mr. Meyer?
When those pathologists left that had the 30-year relationship with the hospital, they were only charging the hospital $700 a month. I got this from Carolyn Cook. Now, they're spending $3,000 a month for the pathologists, and then they have to pay extra for the medical director. So with all the goofing around, because, see, they've lost their pathologist twice since November. And it was very difficult to get someone again, and they could lose them again too if They just don't, if they follow the rules. I mean, they fire people in the lab and they're not supposed to. There's supposed to be an agreement with the medical director because the medical director's license hinges on the fact that there's a competent person in the lab. They don't have a full-time lab medical director at the hospital. And in the contract with the medical director, it says they have to be consulted if someone's let go, and they don't. They just let people go. They don't know what they're doing.
Any further discussion? All right. And we will conclude that. We'll get those reports and notified to the hospital on that. That brings us up to the end of our meeting and agenda setting. Anybody have anything right now? All right. City Council comments. Mr. McClung.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I did get to spend a little time out for the weekend of blues and at the park and auditorium show and you know, eating downtown and the crowd was, you know, fair. The park was very busy on Thursday evening, the opening night, and then Friday as well. It was busy until they finished, and then things moved inside. But I enjoyed it. It was great. It was good activity. The park was exciting. You know, it was it just had a really good feel, and I think it's a good start, and hope it grows next year. That's all.
Mr. Myers.
I think I've said all I need to say.
Ms. Moyer.
I appreciate everybody at the table, this body. I know running a city is not easy, and I just appreciate that you all care about this community, and I feel good about some of the things that happened today, and it's because of you guys, so thank you for that.
Mr. Almanzino.
I first want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the rest of the council for voting yes on the Pride Month proclamation. It means a lot to us as a city. Also, thanks to Jack Moyer and Mary House for putting on the Blues Fest. I think they did a fantastic job. And hospital employees that continue to speak up about the issues, we do appreciate you. And lastly, I want to thank my colleague Rochelle for spearheading all things hospital, because it is well beyond my wheelhouse.
Mr. Holyfield.
CAPC workshop on the 11th, 6 p.m. It's going to be budget review and one other computer system they're reviewing. I can't remember the name of it. It's about getting feedback on reservations and stuff, I think. The regular CAPC meeting is 6:25 at 6 p.m. We do have 3 applications for our vacancy on the commission. 3 good applications, which is really exciting. Great. We had none, and now we have 3, so that's great. The grand opening of the opera was last week, and it's wonderful. We're so proud to have this in our community, and happy Pride, everyone.
All right. I have to ditto on the opera in the Ozarks. It was just a great opening, a grand opening gala out there, and something Eureka Springs is going to be proud of, and certainly going to be built on. It's going to help us give another aspect to our arts community, because this is eventually going to be a year-round facility. It won't be just 6 weeks. So I'm excited for all that's going on out there. And opera is going to go on. So if you haven't been out there, and if you've never been, it's a great time to go, and a great, wonderful venue. It's going to be, it's probably one of the better venues in the state, as far as I know, and through there. So with that said, we've got a lot of activities going on in town this week, or this month. We got the Eureka Springs Pride Festival will be June 12th through the 15th, with music throughout the town. We got the Pride Parade coming up. We've got the Pride Festival, which is presenting Tig Notaro at the auditorium, June 14th. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that may be almost sold out.
It is sold out.
It is.
It is sold out. So that's pretty amazing on there. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, too bad. You may be able to find one hanging out the auditorium door.
Scalpers.
Somebody. She is a stand-up comedian, writer, and radio contributor and actor. On the 15th at 6:15 to 8 o'clock, we got the auditorium is featuring America's favorite couple and their friend, Lydia Collins, Susie Toot, and Corey King from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. Also on the in June 19th through the 22nd, we'll have the Northwest Arkansas Ozark Rumble, which is happening around Pine Mountain Village in the farm campgrounds with custom bikes, live music, and outdoor vendors. The Basin Park Concert Series featuring Tim Hillwood, will be June the 20th at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. For free live music in the Basin Park. So seating's limited, so bring your folding chairs if you're going to attend. And then out at Turpentine Creek, actually it'll be in town, it'll be the Mopar Classic Friday Night Lights. The parade will begin at Eureka Springs Community Center with the police escorting through the top of Spring Street where the fun begins. So weave down through Spring Street, meeting up with Main, and then on up Plainer Hill, and then back to the community center to start the Friday Night Lights. And then the next day, out at Turpentine Creek, they'll continue with the Mopar Classic car show, which was going to benefit the Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge. So come on out and help support Turpentine Creek. And then they have Party in the Park, the Cates Brothers, June 21st. 7 to 9 p.m. And again, live music, and seating is definitely limited on that one. So get there early and bring your own chairs, because it's knowing the Cate Brothers, this is our band, and it's going to be packed. So, and with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Get a second. All in favor?
All right.
So moved. Thank y'all.